Hi guys, and welcome to the Batch Lady, and I am giving you a recipe that people have been asking me for ages, and finally I'm giving it to you because I did a vlog on it and everybody asked me for the recipe. And the recipe is pulled pork, and it is super easy, so tasty. Can go in your freezer, use it whenever you want, portion up into little bags, use it when family come over, really easy. Okay, so here it goes. As usual on the Batch Lady, I show you things that you can make in advance, put in your freezer and use whenever you want them, and this is no exception. So we have got two pork shoulders, okay? So all I'm going to do is cut off the rope that's holding them together, because we don't need that when we're doing pulled pork. So you can just take that off. It doesn't need to stay together. And in fact, you want to get all the sauce sort of around it. You see how it opens up like that? You sort of want it like that. And this is a slow cook dish, so it's going to take, it's going to go in your oven low. They're all different depending on the weight. So I've got two 4.5 pound ones here, but it depends on the weight of yours. So look at the back of the packet. It is going to take quite a few hours. So this is probably, I've got two of these. They're £4 each. This is probably going to take about 6 hours slow cooking, and even then I'll keep checking it. Okay, so we have our pork and we have our stock. So you're just not going to need a chicken nor stock cube or whatever one you want to use, and we need 2 cups of stock, and you're just going to pour them in. Okay, 2 cups of stock get poured in. Then a recipe that I used to use years and years ago always told me to use sliced onions, and I quite like the long sliced onions, so if you want to you can slice them, but I'm being really lazy today, so I'm still using my frozen pre-chopped onions. I usually use about 4 cups for this recipe, and 4 cups are about what's in here, 3 or 4 cups. So I'm just going to put it in the bottom, already still frozen. It'll start defrosting in the stock. And one of our favourites as well that we always use is the garlic, frozen garlic. And I'm just going to add that to the stock as well. Now, kids love this. I mean, my kids absolutely love pulled pork. When people come over for Sunday lunch, we'll sometimes have it. You can really make it really casual. You can have it with wedgies and have it on buns. Or I've been known to serve the children that, and then if we've got a pile of adults come through, then I'll then make it perhaps with some nice baked potatoes, a really nice salad, homemade coleslaw. Great if you've got anybody coming for New Year and you've got a big heap of family that have got kids all different ages, a really good one for this, because you can do this now. This is mid-November that I'm recording this, and you could have this in and done. So I'm going to use about 6 teaspoonfuls of garlic. You want quite a lot of garlic, and just give it a mix around in there. Now, I have a bowl that I've started mixing together here, and what it is you are going to need some chili powder, some cinnamon, and some cumin. Now, if you look on my website, www.thebatchlady.com, you'll get the exact recipe for this. Just click on the pulled pork, and beside it, it will say a printable version. It's free and it's easy to download. Just click on it and press print, and it'll print it off and it'll give you the exact recipe. So I have added also some brown sugar, like dark muscovado or something. So 2 tablespoons of brown sugar have been added to this mix, and then all the spices. And what you want to do is just mix them around. Now you'll notice that we've also got some Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, which I love. You can use any barbecue sauce at all. This is a great one to use, and because I make stuff quite a lot with barbecue sauce, I buy a big one because it's much cheaper. You're going to use the barbecue sauce when this pulled pork is done, not before it's done. You're just going to put it in just now with just the rub on it. So I've just mixed that around, and what you want to do is just grab a handful of it, and you are literally going to rub it all over the pork. Okay? And you're going to get it in as many places as possible, and this is the flavour. This is the amazing flavour that you're going to get. You could actually rub it in before you put the water in the bottom, but it will still, I can't tell you how good this will be. And it goes a long way. You heard us speaking about it in the butcher video that we did with George Dean's for Shaw's Butchers. You just keep rubbing, keep getting it in as many places as possible. Okay, and then we'll start on the next one. We're just going to turn it over because really there's no point in rubbing it into the fat. We just want it rubbed into the meat. And you're just going to get messy. The kids would love to do this. Let them get messy with it. Yeah, go and ask for a pork shoulder if you want to do this. It's when you're buying it, it's sometimes not the cheapest of dishes. You can get them cheaper in the supermarket if you want. It won't be as good, but you can. It's sometimes a bit more fatty. Right, there you go. We have now put all the marinade on it. Okay, I am then going to get a top. Stay with me, people. I'm just here. You want one of these dishes if you've got one. You know, a big sort of casserole dish. I'm now going to put this in the bottom oven and I'm going to leave it there for 6 hours. What I'm going to do is just keep checking it. Check that it's got enough water in it. If it doesn't, you can add some more stock to it. If it's got too much, there's going to be a lot of fat comes off of this. So check it every so often. If it's got too much fat, just lift it off and just drain some of the fat out of it if you want, okay? So just keep an eye on it every few hours. I'm going to come back and let you see what this is like when we open it up later on. And how we're going to pull it. That's the next thing, how to pull it. Okay, see you soon. Hi guys, and welcome back to the pulled pork video where I've just got everything out of the oven, and it's actually the next again day. You'll notice I've changed my shirt because I just left this to slow roast all night basically. And I will make sure that the timings for the size of this are written in the PDF instructions if you want to look at www.batchlady.com, because there's all different timings depending if you've got an AGA or a cooker or what size of pork that you've got. So this is what it comes out looking like. So there's a lot of water comes out of it, and what I've done is I've just strained the onions out of this. So just with a slotted spoon, just strain the onions out of the liquid, okay? Next, what you want to do is take the fat off. Now, you'll notice we've only got a tiny little piece. That's because I've done lots of it already to save time to let you see. So you can put the fat in the tray. You can use some salt. I won't do it just now because my hands are not good. You can use some salt and you can make crackling, which would be really nice if you want to do that. I'm not a massive fan of it. I think it's not very good for you. So now, apologies, you're going to hear my dogs in the background. They're through that door back there and they're howling because they can't smell it. It's so good. Everybody wants some. Now, that's a big piece of fat. Right, so when you take the fat off, you'll get other bits, big pieces of fat. I'm just going to leave them in there just now. So, let me move this out of the way so that you can see. And I want to show you how easy this pulls, okay? So you can pull it with a fork, 2 forks. If you've cooked it enough, it pulls super easy. Watch, you can just take it away. Now, actually, you don't even have to use a fork. Watch this. It just falls apart. I mean, it's so, you leave something to slow cook for that long and it is going to be beautiful. It's cooked in so many juices. This poor dog. Give me the pork. Okay, I hope you can't hear him. I'll apologise now. Hey, what if you can't hear him? You just think I'm mad. Okay, so if you want to look under here, dun, 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 here is the pulled pork that I was just pulling off of here, okay? So, what you're going to do is pull it and add it to your dish. Let's get rid of this. It's the only thing you're going to get messy, so don't wear your best clothes when you're doing this, okay? So here's my last bit to be pulled. Some of you will have to use a fork for it, depending. Others just break it up, just depending on how well it cooks. This is beautiful. It's cooked fantastic, and I can't stop eating it. It's so good. Now, one thing you want to do is always cook lots of pork together, because why make one when you can make 2, as I've already said. But also, you are going to find that you want to freeze it in portions, because you're going to get the pork sweats if you eat it too much. So we're going to put our onions back in that just came out of here. Next, we're going to put in it's 2. I can't open that because my hands are so greasy. It's 2 full cups of barbecue sauce that now go in. Okay. Whoop. That's probably 1.5, maybe even 2. But I actually need 4 because I doubled the mixture, if you remember. So I'm going to just stop at that. That's about 3, and you can either use a spoon, or I sometimes think it's really good. Get your hands in there. Get the kids doing this. Now it's the barbecue sauce that makes that lovely pulled flavour. Okay, and it's going to go really sticky. And if you get a good barbecue sauce, so have a look, there's a good few. The Sweet Baby Ray's I always think is the best, but it's an American brand and you can only get it in a few places. I got this in Costco. So you want to keep going, get it all covered. You want quite a lot because remember you're going to reheat this. So when you reheat it in the portions that you want to use, you want to make sure it's soft and gooey and lovely enough. Okay, and what you can do as well is you can add some of your lovely stock back in. Okay, now I took the fat off of this, so what it had a layer of fat on the top, so I've already taken that off. So if you want, and you don't want to use too much barbecue sauce, then just get your stock back in there. And you want it to be really moist, I mean really moist. It's going to go in the freezer and then come back out again, okay? So the moister, the better, I would say. And I think I am just going to add 2 more bits of stock to this. 1, 2. I don't want the fatty bits in it. I told you it's a bit messy, this job. And we'll just add another ½ cup of barbecue sauce. Now, although we're putting a lot of sauce in, which I usually think there's lots of sugar and stuff in that, this is going to make a lot of portions. This size here is ½ cup, okay? So what you want is generally ½ cup per person, okay? Pork's quite strong, it goes a long way. So let me just show you. Now I'm just going to keep my messy hands. You can use a large sealable freezer bag. Yes! You can use a large one, or you can use, sorry, I can never say that, I've said it. Yeah, I'm not saying it again, I'm not even attempting it. Large one or a small one, depending on what you're doing. Get a ½ cup. So work out what size is your ½ cup. You can look at my measurements if you want. Now you don't have to do it this way, but it's a good way to do it if you're really portioning it out. And I tend to say a sort of rounded measure of that is about 1 portion. So you're really looking at sort of big hamburger patty. Although you're not going to eat them in burger patty shapes, but you're looking for about that. So if we know roughly, because I do this all the time, 1, 2, smaller one for the children, 3, 4. And I know that that is going to serve 4 people. By portioning out like this, you're going to have no waste at all. You're going to be able to use it all. Even if you only end up with, for instance, that amount left, and you think, what do I do with that? That's a 2-person one. Have it on sliders, you know, on buns or something like that instead of a burger. Now, for the freezer, obviously you want to do this with clean hands because I'm going to mess this bag up now. But again, you want to press it down flat, okay? Get all the air out it and press it down as flat as possible. And you're going to freeze that and it's going to take up no room at all. That is how you make pulled pork. It's messy, it's sticky, it tastes amazing, and it's great fun. Use it for all the family, for anything. Perfect. Get cooking pulled pork. It's fantastic. Please subscribe. Thanks.